between the mother and the child grows, and also even in the upbringing of the child, especially for them to be breastfed the first 6 months is quite important in nurturing and bringing up of that child, both physically, mentally, and also bonding between the mother and the child. And that is why, as a nation, if we are mindful about the future of our nation, we should all support this. Again, breastfeeding is the first preventive health measures that can be given to a child. And if we do that, then we have taken care of our children. As we know very well these days, even the food that we eat, the feeding that we do to our children is not healthy enough. But when we breastfeed our children, then we are able to take care of their health. Mother-infant relationship is enhanced, and the child is able to grow with a lot of confidence. And again, it serves as the first, the nature's first immunization. Honorable Speaker, that is one gift that we need to give to all our children so that our children can be able to fight any potential infection that may come around. And again, to boost their growth, the mother has to be there. They must be fed properly. And that is the only time the mother's joy can be increased, and also the child's confidence can also be increased. Again, Honorable Speaker, in Part 2, Clause 3 to 9, the bill provides for the fundamental principles and the rights at work for breastfeeding mothers, which is lacking now. And this will encourage and motivate young people, because in some areas in our country today, we do not have mothers, young mothers giving birth or getting pregnancy. And if we do this can be a very good incentive, because we can take care of them as a nation, and they will have the confidence of even carrying the pregnancy and bringing their children up in a good way. Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I support this, and it is my prayer that very, very soon this will be, the President can assent and can be used in our nation. Thank you.
The member for Kitui Central.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to support this progressive bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm not a medical doctor, but I've been listening a lot to debates on the benefits of breastfeeding. Honorable Speaker, the medical doctors do recommend that for the first 6 months after birth, a child should only rely on mother's milk. And that being the case, Honorable Speaker, a number of benefits are listed associated with that breastfeeding. One of them is improvement of the immunity of the child. That a child has, for the first 6 months, has managed to only live on mother's milk, Honorable Speaker, the immunity levels is really improved. The second one, Honorable Speaker, is that a child who has been breastfeeding for the first 6 months, Honorable Speaker, even the intelligence development, the levels of development of the mind, Honorable Speaker, the intellectual development also is assessed to be higher than those who are fed on these foods which are given and not the mother's milk. The other thing, Honorable Speaker, is that there is also a claim that, I don't know if there's a claim or is a scientific information, Honorable Speaker, that mothers who do breastfeeding for the first 6 months also reduce chances of having breast cancer, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, anytime I listen to this kind of talks, it encourages me, because I do realize that some of the young mothers will not really like to breastfeed their kids for the first 6 months because of the beauty-related issues, Honorable Speaker. So when I see a bill, Honorable Speaker, which proposes that we do provide facilities and the legal framework to ensure that our mothers breastfeed their children for the first 6 months and also the longest time possible, Honorable Speaker, this is a bill worth supporting, Honorable Speaker. So for me, Honorable Speaker, even though I'm not a medical doctor, I really want to support this bill and say that after the bill becomes an act of parliament, if possible, Honorable Speaker, we need to fast track it. And after becoming an act of parliament, we need to provide the conducive environment so that whatever is in this bill is implemented immediately, Honorable Speaker. I do support.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kangundo, do you want to contribute, or you're contributing on this bill? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving the opportunity to add my voice on breastfeeding bill. Honorable Speaker, breastfeeding is the best way to give the young-born hand bodies nutrition, and also gives a pathway of a young-born to come to the heart, the first way to start giving food. So this, everyone, give the right now, or the start of every human being to be in the heart. So on the onset, I support the bill, but if you see in our country how the labor laws they are set, workers, they are only given 3 months to be leave out of job. But the breastfeeding professionally is supposed to, whatever we get from the policies from the health sector, is supposed to be 2 years. So you see now, given the gap that there shall be the time when you are working as per the law, and there shall be the time which also you need to breastfeed. So for coming up with this bill for lactating mothers, it is a good opportunity to give corporate institution also to the government for privacy for our mothers and our sisters. So it is a good bill to support our mothers and sisters. Compare it internationally, Philippines, they have done the same. It's not something which Kenya is coming to be new about it. Philippines have done the lactating mothers private in terms of giving areas for breastfeeding. United Nations, some states, some governors, they have implemented through the states' federal laws. So in Kenya, if we are known in Africa for spearheading in terms of making bills and laws, in Kenya for coming the breastfeeding bill is a good way to support our sisters, our mothers, and also the wife, which we are living with them. Because sometimes when we come to corporate world, like especially we are traveling back home, public sector traveling is very hard when we are breastfeeding. So I know it will be some challenge, and there shall be economical burden which will come to the corporates, to the business people, but I support is a good idea. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
I don't see any further requests on this bill, so I would request the mover for the bill to reply. The member for Baringo, you wanted to contribute to this bill? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to contribute to this very important bill. And I want to thank Honorable Sabina. As much as this bill has taken a lot of time and long time, we would be actually wishing that it should be assented in good time. And also, Mr. Speaker, this is the month for breastfeeding, and we want to celebrate young mothers who are breastfeeding. As I support this bill, Mr. Speaker, I also want to contribute to say that it is important for a baby, a young, as we have our children, to get enough time to bond. And breastfeeding is one of the best way to enable the child and the mother to bond all the time. And this is why this bill is important, because as we look at the challenges that comes during this generation, where we have many young mothers going to work, and they deprive their children of this very important nutritious meal of their breasts. It takes bold decisions like what Honorable Sabina have drafted through this bill to allow all of us as mothers and the fathers to bond by giving room in workplaces, specifically with all the articulated descriptions. And this is going to enable the society to grow well and children to have good health as they enjoy this bonding with their mothers. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say thank you, Sabina, for giving us this opportunity. As a mother, I want to look forward for a better environment for mothers who are working to bond with their children, and the child also gets enough time with the mother. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Sabina Chege. Chance to reply.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank honorable members for the great support they have shown towards this bill. And Honorable Speaker, it is such a coincidence that the World Breastfeeding Week is celebrated annually between August 1st to 7th. And so I am very grateful that we are able to conclude this bill on this day, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I want also to say that breast milk is very important. And it's good for mothers to know that there is already evidence-based approach that shows that the first 1,000 days are the most important in child's life. And therefore, it is also recommended that the first 6 months, there is exclusive breastfeeding. And this enables the growth and overall growth of a child. And so, Mr. Speaker, as I thank various organizations that came in, even at this house, we need to look at our room where it is. We lead from the front, Mr. Speaker. And I also, again, want to thank the Parliamentary Service Commission for the small step they started from that small room that is across the road. And if you have a mother who is here contributing to a bill, they might need to go out, breastfeed, and come back. We need allocation of a room within the Parliament main building, where a mother can just walk out and walk in. Might be, if you look at houses like Austria, both houses of representative and the Senate, they have actually allowed mothers who have small babies to actually even get into the chamber with a baby. Mr. Speaker, if I have an urgent matter going on and have my baby, provided they are not causing any disruption, it is important that maybe one day, one time, if you have a small baby, you can walk in and the baby will not be seen as a stranger, but the mother will be comfortably sit, listen in, or even contribute to a motion. Mr. Speaker, I think it has also happened in UK, Spain, and Italy. These are countries that we can benchmark with and be a first, maybe East African nation that can allow members of parliament to participate with their small and young ones. And not just for members, Mr. Speaker. I know we have a huge number of staff members here who are also equally young. And Mr. Speaker, I would also request the Parliamentary Service Commission to visit Safaricom. Safaricom have the latest, lactation room. They have gone to an extra mile of even providing support to the staff who have small children, such that they can come with their children, you can either come with your house girl, and they have a place they can stay. And this will only add to the productivity. Mr. Speaker, for any mother who has given birth, it is very uncomfortable when your breasts are full of milk. You don't have a place to express. Sometimes you have a dress that can show when they start leaking out. It's very uncomfortable. And so the productivity goes down. And I'll also want to urge the companies where they have these young mothers, give them working flexible hours where they can come maybe a little bit later in the morning and leave early. And this will even increase their productivity. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, as I finish, to urge my colleagues as we go to now the third reading, and there are several amendments that were recommended by various stakeholders. I want to thank the Committee on Social Protection under the leadership of Honorable Alice Ganga as the chair for their commitment. And I know I also want to recognize the Kenya Association for Breastfeeding, the Career Mothers for Exclusive Breastfeeding. There's a lady called Ms. Esther Kimani, who is a member of lactation professional, Mr. Collins Michael of Policy and Governance Kenya, the Care Network, under the Oxfam, Youth Alive Kenya, Association of Women in Agriculture, Kenya Union of Domestic and Hotels, Education Institutions, Hospitals, and Allied Workers, who also gave their view. There are also several individuals, Mr. Speaker, I might not go through all of them, including the Kenya Association of Bankers, Professionals, and even the University of Nairobi African Women Studies Research Center. They came in and they were able to share their views with the committee. As we go to the next level and we also go for the amendment, I urge members to support. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say, for the people who had a lot of hope with the motion that passed on in the morning, we will still go on. And Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Asante sana. And I beg to reply. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well said. All members, for obvious reasons, the decision on this matter will be made the next time it's in the order of paper, that's the voting on the second reading. Members, time now being 1 o'clock, this House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, the 6th of August at 2:30 p.m. this afternoon.
Holders in the MUSCO liquidation process. Remember, MUSCO is the Moi University Savings and Credit Society. Regarding that particular issue, why the Commissioner of Cooperatives has failed to reinstate certification for resumption of back office operations by the Moi University Savings and Credit Society, MUSCO, in line with the recommendation made by the Senate Standing Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industrialization in July the year 2021, following its consideration of the petition to the Senate regarding the liquidation of MUSCO, and also whether the Cabinet Secretary could explain what the government is doing to facilitate full implementation of the recommendations of the task force appointed to review the status of the Moi University Savings Credit Cooperative in liquidation. Currently at the entrance of the Senate chambers is the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Katuri Murungi, who has already made his way into the chamber to preside over this morning's sitting. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good morning.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to be owned with abundant favor and blessings as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We sing guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under the liberation in so just a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, laying the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Well, the prayer has been said and the chair taken, but the House is facing a quorum hitch. Members of the Senate are yet to make their way into the chamber in a way that the House will be termed to have quorated. So much as we are already seeing members inside the chambers, that number has not quorated yet. As provided for in the House Standing Order, number 39 and 40, at least 15 senators shall be seated in the chambers at the commencement of a sitting of the House for it to be deemed to have quorated. And if that is not present, then that would mean that the House has a quorum hitch, and that will necessitate that current or that particular quorum bell that is underway for them or for those who may be within the precincts of Parliament to be able to understand that the House has not quorated yet, and that the business cannot commence or the House sitting cannot commence, and that therefore their presence inside the chamber is highly needed, and also for them to be able to hasten their steps to join their colleagues inside the chamber. The whip from the minority side, who is also the senator for Nairobi County or Nairobi City County, Honorable Edwin Sifuna, we've just seen him making his way out of the chamber, of course, to be able to whip members to make their way into the chamber and enable the House raise that much needed quorum for the business that is lined up for consideration this morning to be able to commence. Now, you will recall that last Wednesday, being a Wednesday that the senators normally host the cabinet secretary for them to respond to various concerns that are normally forwarded to them prior their appearance before the Senate. The House did not manage to raise the quorum after the bell rang for 20 minutes. That is both the two rounds of the quorum bell. The 10-minute quorum bell lapsed, and the House did not manage to raise that quorum, much as the Senate had invited the cabinet secretary to appear before the House to respond to those concerns that had been forwarded to the ministry. Remember, these matters are normally concerns from either the county, inter-county, national, regional, or even international levels. And when the cabinet secretary appear before the Senate, then that is the time that the senators can be able to canvass those matters comprehensively as the ministry or the relevant ministry is before them, and they can respond to those concerns comprehensively. So this morning, if the House manages to raise that quorum, if the situation does not replicate itself, the last week's Wednesday situation does not replicate itself, and again, if the cabinet secretary also shows up, then they will be hosting or they will be hearing from the cabinet secretary for cooperatives and micro, small, and medium enterprises development, Wycliffe Oparanya. So as we wait for the members to correct, then we shall continue to take a look at the other business that is also, or the other priority business that the members will also be considering this morning. Much of the business that is lined up for consideration here regards motions. One of the motions is the motion regarding the implementation of an automated and decentralized certificate of good conduct system in Kenya. This is a motion that is moved by the Honorable Senator for Murang'a, Senator Joe Nyutu. And in this particular motion, the Senate will be seeking to resolve that the National Police Service Commission, in collaboration with the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, to develop and implement an automated good conduct certificate system designed to streamline the issuance, renewal, and verification of certificates of good conduct. Also incorporate advanced technologies such as biometric fingerprint recognition, data encryption, and secure communication protocols to ensure the accuracy of individuals' records, as well as establish decentralized service points and deploys mobile registration units across counties to enhance accessibility, especially in remote areas. And finally, also scale up public awareness initiatives in rural areas on the application and renewal process for the certificate of good conduct. This is a motion that is part of the priority business that Once the House corrects and commences its sitting, then this business, if time allows, will be considered. If you're just joining us, that the House is about to commence its sitting this Wednesday morning, the 6th of August, 2025. However, much as the prayer has been said and the chair taken, the House is facing a quorum hitch. Currently, the quorum bell is underway. This is, of course, to alert the members of the Senate who may be within the precincts of Parliament, but are yet to get into the chamber to quicken their steps and join their colleagues. At least 15 senators should be seated inside the chambers for the House to be deemed to have quorated at the commencement of a sitting. If that is not present, then that would necessitate the current quorum bell that is underway. And of course, we shall also be waiting for the direction from the Speaker to indicate whether the quorum has been achieved for the sitting to commence, or we shall be going into the second round of the 10-minute quorum bell. Remember, last week, Wednesday, the Senate failed to raise that much-needed quorum for the sitting to commence and was forced to adjourn. So this morning, we believe that the House shall correct because the business that was to be transacted failed last Wednesday. Good morning.
We have quorum members, so Sergeant Atabs, you can stop the bell now. Clerk, read out the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable Senators, this morning we're expecting the CS, Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, MSMEs Development. And we have only one question from Senator Professor Margaret Kamar. And from where I sit, I'm told the CS is around the corner, so he's coming here directly. That's what I'm being informed. So, Senator Professor, is she around? I saw her this morning. I am looking, yeah? I am looking for Senator Professor Margaret, and also the CS, both of them. I'm looking for both of them. Honorable Senators, the CS is now in the House, so CS Honorable Oparanya, I want to welcome you to the Senate. You are not the time in the Senate, you have appeared severally before this House, so karibuni sana. So request the move of this question, the Senator Professor Magid Kamar. Can you ask your questions? There are several, there are one but several questions. You ask them together, then the CS will respond. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask my questions to the Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise on the revival of the Moi University Savings Cooperative Society. Mr. Speaker, this is a question that was here from 2020 in this House. I would like to ask the CS from B first, and I'll talk A last. When will the Cabinet Secretary compel the Commissioner of Cooperatives to grant reinstatement of the certification for MUSCO so that the society can be able to mobilize membership and resources for the back office operations in line with the recommendation of this Senate through the committee on the 28th July 2021. Can the Cabinet Secretary order forensic audit of the liquidation account of specifically income and rent collection from MUSCO Towers and Plaza, respectively, and the related expenditures during the liquidation? Can the Cabinet Secretary order the suspension of any further withdrawals of monies from all MUSCO accounts awaiting the forensic audit? Can the Cabinet Secretary also set up a task force, another task force because there was one before, to, among others, one, finalize the implementation of the recommendations of the Senate Committee on the Reinstatement and Certification for the commencement of the back office operations? These may include the personal presence of the CS during the said certification and commencing of the operations for the seriousness to be felt by the aggrieved members. Follow-up, can the CS also follow up on the implementation of the first task force report? 3, can the CS set up a task force to look into the welfare of persons affected by the liquidation, issues of justice and public interest on the status of withdrawers, retirees, orphans, widows, and widowers, including compensation for the deceased members by the
Professor
CIC
Margaret
insurance?
Kamar, the questions I have are totally different from what you are reading. Have you sneaked a different on the paper to this house? You know, professors can do anything possible.
Mr. Speaker, professors are horrible because they handled several drafts.
I know.
So the last draft, which we agreed with the Secretariat, with your Secretariat, Mr. Speaker, has 4. So let me go back to that because I think that's what went to the CS. I apologize, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, A, could the Cabinet
On the
Secretary...
senators, Professor is quite in order. Professor, go ahead and read into what you've been given.
Thank
Professor
you.
can never be wrong with whatever she's doing.
Thank you. Drafting is allowed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, A, could the Cabinet Secretary order a forensic audit on the liquidation account of Moi University Savings and Credit Society, MUSCO, in liquidation and disclose the findings of the audit? B, what steps has the ministry taken to facilitate the involvement of the Sacco Society's Regulation Authority, County Government of Uasin Gishu, Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, MUSCO members, and other relevant stakeholders in MUSCO liquidation? I'm happy the former governor who was involved he is now a senator here. C, why has the Commissioner of Cooperatives failed to reinstate certification for the resumption of the back office operations by the Moi University Savings and Credit Society in line with the recommendations made by the Senate Standing Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industrialization in July 2021, following its consideration of the petition to the Senate regarding the liquidation of MUSCO? Finally, could the CS also explain what the government is doing to facilitate full implementation of the recommendation of the task force appointed by Gazette Notice number 16776 of the 8th December 2023 to review the status of the Moi University Savings and Credit Cooperative, now in liquidation? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Professor Margaret. CS cooperatives, I hope the answers you have are for these questions now, learned the second time, and not from the draft. So if you have the right answers,
Mr. Speaker,
proceed and respond.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I have the answers to all the questions, that even the supplementary questions that he was asking. But, Mr. Speaker, if we listen carefully what Senator Professor Margaret Kamar was asking, I want, instead of reading the question and the answers, because this is before you, you can easily get the gist of the question and answers. I want to clearly talk about what I'm doing generally to address some of these issues that Professor Kamar is raising. There are 3 or 4 issues that, Mr. Speaker, the professor has raised. She has raised the issue of...
Honorable CS, is it possible to handle them as they are recorded? You start with the A, with the Cabinet Secretary, on the forensic audit, you respond about that, then B, C, and D.
And that's what I was coming to.
Okay, okay, CS.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you.
She raised the issue of the task force. She raised the issue of the involvement of the stakeholders. She raised the issue of the implementation of the task force recommendation. Those are the critical issues, and of course, a restatement of the management of the institution. On question number 1, where she's requesting for a forensic audit, Mr. Speaker, what the ministry did, it appointed a task force. And I want to take this opportunity to table the report of the task force. It is here, Mr. Speaker. That could answer question 1, that I instituted a task force, and within that task force, I am involved in that task force, which was appointed on 8th December 2023. All the stakeholders were involved. The university, Moi University representative was involved. The county government representative, the private sector, the ministry picked a quantity surveyor and architect. The cooperative bank, that is the main bank of the institution, was involved. The university, the neighboring university, Eldoret University representative was represented. We picked on prominent lawyers within that community. SASRA, within the supervisory authority within the ministry, was involved, and a member of the ministry was also involved. And Mr. Speaker, I want also to come out and highlight the recommendations within that report. The first recommendation, Your Speaker, was that the Cabinet Secretary should facilitate the immediate lifting of the liquidation, reinstatement of a certificate of registration, and appoint the interim committee to oversee the revival of the Sacco. Number two, the government to inject 500 million shillings to revive the institution. Number three, DCI to investigate suspected theft and misappropriation of funds and prefer criminal charges against the person of interest if found culpable. Number four, investigate identified government officers and external auditors for impropriety and negligence of duty. Number five, cooperative bank, the secured creditor, be requested to consider writing off all penalties and interest on Moscow loans, offer a moratorium for 3 years, and zero rate all outstanding facilities. All monies should be channeled through the cooperative bank Eldoret branch. And lastly, the contractor be requested to write off any outstanding liabilities and withdraw legal cases against the Sacco. I brought out those recommendations clearly so that I can inform the Honorable House what measures we are taking to make sure that those particular implementations are taken. Mr. Speaker, sir, what the ministry is doing, because these issues that are being raised about Moi Sacco, Moi University Sacco, is rampant everywhere within the Sacco movement in this country. And what the ministry is doing to address these issues once for all, one, is that in this particular house, the ministry has introduced the cooperative bill that is before you. And this cooperative bill is supposed to address some of the governance issues that arose in the Moi Sacco. The second one that the ministry is doing is to review the Sacco Act, and the ministry has appointed a committee of experts to look at the entire Sacco Act of 2008 so that the weak links within that act are really addressed, especially making SASRA, the supervisory authority, to be a strong institution, because this particular institution, Mr. Speaker, lacks capacity. So we need to build capacity in that institution so that it is able to supervise all the Saccos. And administratively, what the minister has done has also issued a circular to all Saccos to ensure that all Saccos do not invest in non-core business, because all Saccos that have come up with the construction of buildings have gone bust. And then we have also issued circulars to make sure that any borrowing must be approved by the Commission of Cooperatives, and then also issued a circular that returns, all Saccos must make returns to ensure that they are audited every year. And lastly, we have improved oversight by making sure that members work within delegate systems so that there are fewer people during the AGM so that they are able to transact their businesses. For example, if a Sacco has 20,000 people, it is impossible to have 20,000 transacting an AGM. But specifically what I have done for Moi University is that, one, I have removed the liquidator who was there. We have temporarily appointed a new liquidator who will work closely with also a counter liquidator appointed by the county government. Before the end of this month, I'm going to meet all stakeholders of the Sacco to make sure that we come up with a revival strategy. So, Mr. Speaker, that's what I have done.
Senator Professor Margaret Kamar, you have two supplementary questions to ask.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will start with the last one on the liquidator. In the response, the CS has said that he has appointed a new liquidator. The current cooperative legal framework states that you can then appeal after that, within 30 days. I am aware that actually this cooperative appealed at that time but was not responded to. So is the CS giving room for the cooperative to then use this room for the with the new liquidator to appeal reinstatement? That is one. The second question was has to do with what could have been my supplement. Yes, what the members who have been affected by liquidation. We have the deceased members, we have widows, we have orphans, we have people who have lost a lot. How are those going to be addressed? Are they going to be addressed at this stage or later? Because we are liquidating also a cooperative that has a lot of assets that have not been accounted for. Some within the university, some outside the university, some plots that have not been sold. Can the minister tell us how he's going to approach the issue of the deceased and their families? That's my second question. Thank you.
Waziri.
Mr. Speaker, there is a window of appeal of 30 days to the Cabinet Secretary. Unfortunately, there was no appeal when the liquidator was appointed. And if there is no appeal, then it means that the appointment proceeds.
Oh, sorry, Professor. You want to inform the CS? Well, I thought he can respond, and then if you are not maybe satisfied, you can raise another supplementary question. Let him first finish.
I will not mind a question of information. I will not mind.
Now, first finish with what you have.
Yes,
Honorable
I was clearly saying that there is a provision for the appeal. And I can give you a statement on the appeal. Mr. Speaker, the current legal framework does not provide for the restatement of registration for a corporate society whose registration has been cancelled. Rather, it permits an appeal against the cancellation order issued by the Commissioner to be lodged with the Cabinet Secretary within 30 days, with a further right to appeal to the High Court. Where no appeal is filed within the stipulated period, the liquidation process proceeds in accordance with the law. It is further noted that the Insolvent Act does not provide for reinstatement of a certificate of registration once cancelled. This position is consistent with international best practices, which generally does not provide for reinstatement under such circumstances. So I wanted clearly, because I was expecting that supplementary question, so I was prepared. Secondly, I have clearly stated that we are going to meet the stakeholders before the end of this month. And within those stakeholders, we are going to come up with a revival plan. Within that revival plan, we are going to address the issues that Honourable Member has raised. How would we compensate? There is a building already, a very big building worth millions of shillings. Maybe one of the revival plan is to dispose of that particular building so that we are able to compensate the affected members, as pointed out by the member. And I will closely involve Honorable Margaret Kamar in all this process so that we move together to revive this cooperative.
Senator Professor Margaret.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to inform the Minister that during the investigations, actually, we discovered that there was an appeal that was not addressed, but it is in the documents of the Senate. But I'm very happy with the CS that he's going to have a revival plan. I think then the past will go and will move forward. Thank you, CS. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Senator Mandago Jackson. Maybe you must be private to what has been happening. Let's get your supplementary question.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Yes, I am private to what was happening. Actually, when the Honorable Minister was busy with the matters of Kakamega County, I was busy sorting out this matter of Moi University, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first let me thank the CS and the Ministry for, the problem with the tutor here is, anyway, Honorable Speaker, for first the decision to revive, but I'm happy that Senator Kamara has informed the CS that indeed there was an appeal on a CS. It is quite unfortunate that the information it seems to have been given is not accurate. And I think probably the officers who colluded with the Commissioner of Cooperatives, SASRA, MUSCO management, Cooperative Bank could have also continued to give you misleading information. Indeed, there was an appeal. What we are seeing is a systematic, continuous systematic cover-up of what happened. My question, Honorable Speaker, to the CS, I've heard him say there is a recommendation that government injects 500 million. Before we talk of government injecting 500 million, my question would be, when is the government going to submit the deductions that were deducted from members and were not submitted to the cooperatives, contrary to the law? Part of the problems of MUSCO was that member savings were being deducted, members' loans were being deducted, but the money was not being remitted to the cooperative, and that is why the cooperative also ended up where it was. Number two, Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, as a stakeholder, is the CS has said is replacing the liquidator. Who is going to take the responsibility of the messes the liquidator created before they left? And finally, Honorable Speaker, what is the Minister, Cabinet Secretary going to do? Allow me, Honorable Speaker, because this is a very serious matter. It has crippled the economy of that county. Just another 3 seconds, Honorable Speaker. What is the Cabinet Secretary going to do, number one, to increase the number of liquidators in this country? In fact, two things. We have only less than 5 liquidators who have been moving around, actually killing cooperatives. And we also have what we call receiver managers. There are less than 5 in this country. In fact, they are not. We should call them the cartels that are simply going to bury the cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. And what is the Cabinet Secretary going to do if he actually confirms he was misled by his officers that there was no appeal, Honorable Speaker? And I speak, Honorable Speaker, I want to ask my colleagues that when we bring the amendments of the Cooperative Act as the Committee for Trade, let us deal with this office called Commission of Cooperatives that has been responsible for the death of cooperatives in this country. Thank you.
I don't want to take more questions because yours are very substantive questions. So let the CS first answer your question.
Mr. Speaker, I know Honorable Mandako knows even much more than I know, but let me assure Honorable Mandako that I've been fairly briefed and I'm on need this particular issue to see that it is actually resolved. Now, Mr. Speaker, deductions are done by the employer of cooperative members, and the employer of cooperative members is Moi University. This has been a problem in the entire Sacco sector, and the most culprits are the universities and county governments. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the issues that we are raising up, tightening it within the cooperative bill that is before this particular house. This issue is being addressed there so that the Commission of Cooperatives is given more powers to follow this deduction, because these deductions have contributed to collapse of many Saccos, because members are deducted, but the affected institution divert the money to other use, which is actually irregular. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I have clearly stated that one of the recommendations that this particular report that I've tabled before the House is forwarded to the DCI to take appropriate action. That's another agency in government that is supposed to do a thorough investigation and